Hey there, can you hear me?
I I can hear you, but not in my computer. So let me fix something. Okay, I think I can hear you now. Are you there, Carlos?
Yep, can you hear me?
Oh, perfect now. Yep, it was just a little setup here. How are you? It's Thursday, almost Friday, and I can feel it. So how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, I'm doing good. I'll try not to do long conversations today actually because um, I woke up with like a sore throat, so gotta keep talking to a minimum.
Okay, so and you have a big event today, so you wanna? I invited the rabbit also because I think the topic he can help a lot with today's topic. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'll try not to ask many questions and doing short, and then if you want, if you need to leave, and we gotta take care of that throat, so feel free to let
yeah,
me
no,
know.
feel free. Ask away. It's just that I'll reply very short with short answers.
Okay, perfect. Are you drinking? Are you drinking something for the throat? Do you believe in like honey and a little lemon and all those things?
Um, I mean, my understanding is that it does work, right? But right now I am drinking some chamomile tea.
Okay, so while everyone gets in here, it takes a while for people to get here, but usually we get new listeners and everyone. So the first thing I want is first welcome everyone. Good morning, good night, good afternoon. This is our daily DEGA space, almost daily because on Wednesdays we don't have it, but we try to do it like every day, every week at the same time. We call this time DEGA hour because this is the time that everyone in our team around the whole world is connected. So it's DEGA time for us. So I want to remind you though that there's a daily challenge in Twitter, and you have the opportunity to win 1,000 DEGA tokens by just liking, retweeting, and mentioning three friends, the selected Twitter of the day. So look in our Twitter, go to that tweet, specific tweet, and like, retweet, mention three friends, and you get the chance to win 1,000 DEGA tokens every day. So be looking for that. It's an interesting way and try to make everything a challenge and a game because we feel DEGA and we believe DEGA is an RPG in real life. So, but every day we go with Carlos and he explains the new people coming in what the ISPO is, what we're doing, what is it about, and the bonuses behind it. So, Carlos, welcome. Good morning. Hope your throat gets better, but the mic is all yours. If you want to stop, just let me know, and me and the rabbit will jump. And also, we have today the rabbit with us from the beginning. So this is an honor, and it's gonna be a really exciting space having the rabbit. It's always cool. So also, rabbit. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, freak. How are you?
I'm in the process of waking up.
Yeah, me too. I'm having some goat fuel.
You and that goat fuel.
It's so good.
I'm having green tea, by the way. So,
It's so
Mm.
good.
let's go with Carlos, and then we will get crazy in here.
No, actually, that's a pretty standardized question, and that one I think the rabbit can handle. Like just doing like the short overview and explanation of what an ISPO is.
I just had one sip of goat fuel. Now I'm on stage.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Right. No. So what an ISPO is if you're familiar with staking on proof of stake networks, you can take your assets and you can stake them with somebody or put them with somebody. And usually in a situation like that, so say you're staking your Ethereum on the Ethereum network, what happens is the people who are running that stake pool, so the people who run the technology or run the run the back end for that staking technology, they generally take a small percentage of the cut to cover their operations and maybe make a little profit for themselves, but then they return the anything that was raised on the network due to that staking protocol back to you. So that's where those kind of like APY numbers come from, and it says you're going to make 5% on this staking protocol. That's where that comes from. So it's like you get a 5%, and then there's another percentage that actually comes off of that goes to the validator. In the case of an ISPO, what happens is all of those fees are all of that APY is basically reduced to zero, and in return for reducing that APY or that those rewards down to zero, instead in an ISPO you get rewarded with the project token. So it's like the people you were supporting. So it's almost like a subscription service. You're like subscribing to DEGA in our DEGA ISPO, and it's a situation where it's a low risk situation. You never have to give up your tokens, just like you would in a typical staking situation. But DEGA is getting the rewards for that, and in return, we give you DEGA tokens.
Yep. So essentially,
Okay, so
people are supporting two projects. They're supporting the Cardano network by helping us,
Yep.
run our validator, and they're also supporting DEGA to bootstrap and build.
okay, so and there's people new here that don't know about anything about this, and especially the bonus. We got our partnerships. Partnerships program is a really strong program, and we've been bringing and announcing partnerships almost every week, and really strong partnerships. But these partnerships also come with a bonus for the ISPO. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
Partnership bonuses.
Yeah, all the bonus we can get in the ISPO. The partner bonus, the time bonus, and the NFT bonus.
Yeah, so when you come to DEGA, and sorry I'm keeping my voice down, but people are still sleeping in my house, and I don't want to wake them up. But when you come to DEGA, and right now we're doing, like Carlos said, we're also through this supporting the Cardano network, the Cardano protocols, and everything like that. When you come and you support DEGA, we want to not just give you a kind of like this one-to-one kind of thing. We actually want to make it better for you. And what we did in that case, when you come and you support DEGA, is we created a structure within our reward system when we pay out, when we reward you with DEGA tokens that allow you to, if you meet some certain conditions, you're going to get a bonus. So one of those bonuses is like what Freak said, is a partner-based bonus. If you have inside of your delegating wallet, so the wallet that you use to actually put ADA into our ISPO, if you have one of our 3 current partner tokens in that same wallet, we're going to give you a bonus for just supporting one of our partners. Another bonus that we provide is a time-based bonus. So it's like this one has some, this one there's a timer that can actually run out. So anyone who gets in the first, I believe, 15 epochs. Is that correct, Carlos? Is it the first 15 epochs? Somewhere around there. So
you can check the article.
Yeah, it's in the article. But if you get in and start staking with us early, as time goes on, your bonus is actually going to go up. So it's like, if you're in early, you have the opportunity to be able to reach what we call supernova status. And supernova status has a couple of other fun little game-like things associated with it. But and then the final bonus that we offer is one based on something that we call our pre-mint pass, and that is a future DEGA NFT that's going to be able to operate on our protocol. And we're not minting them now for many reasons, but mostly because the strength of that mint for you, the rarity of that mint for you, is going to be dependent upon the some of these bonuses that we have. So it's like if you check the box on all of these bonuses, your NFT when it mints is going to be a lot more rare and a lot more strong in our network. So we're not minting right now. So instead, what we're doing is we're providing you with a pre-mint pass. And what that pre-mint pass does is it also gives you a bonus just by holding it, in the or buying buying that pre-mint pass. It gets associated with your delegating wallet, and you'll also get a bonus on that. So, when you get to the end of all of these bonuses, how they all stack up, you can actually get close to or greater than 30% bonus on top of everything that you're just doing normally inside of our network. One thing that I also did want to mention about the pre-mint pass is that there's an extra opportunity inside of that for you to earn DEGA. We don't talk about this one too much, but maybe we should. Like when you what's a good example? You get to the end of like buying groceries, or you're online and you buy your groceries online, or you get some sort of delivery and you get a code at the end that says share this with your friends and we'll give you 10% off of your next purchase or something like that. Well, we're doing something similar. If you share your referral code, and all of this is available in the blog post. If you share your referral code, we're also giving you a percentage. You'll earn additional DEGA as a percentage of the sale price of one of our pre-mint passes. So you can generate that code and you can share it with friends, put it wherever, and then anytime your friend makes a purchase using your code, you'll earn more DEGA. So there's tons of places to make DEGA as we're ramping up and heading forward. And Freak already mentioned some of the contests that we run. That's helping us and it's helping you as well. So there's a bunch of places where you can get involved in assisting the DEGA project, and in return, we are going to reward you handsomely.
Carlos, do you want to add something on top of the rabbit, or shall we move forward?
Yeah, it just occurred to me that we haven't actually discussed this, but we'll probably do another article about it. But for the referral code, right now it's only the pre-mint pass that we're selling, but any person that you brought in will be your referral for any of the other products and services that we'll be launching in the coming year. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, and then of course, one thing that we haven't talked about yet is our surprise bonus. That was, we dropped on the 4th of July.
It's on the agenda. Don't jump ahead on the agenda.
Sorry.
It is coming. That's one of the topics we will be discussing. But let's.
So just to wrap up the ISPO, anyone familiar with Cardano knows about ISPOs. But one of the things that we talk about here at DEGA is DEGA, the protocol itself, is a multi-chain protocol, and we want to be able to take that ethos and put it into every single product that we create. In the ISPO product that we're working on right now, which you are all using at this point, that's also going to be multi-chain. So, right now, we're still working on Cardano, but in our community, there's going to be another influx of folks coming from the Polkadot ecosystem. So we're working on Polkadot right now. And in time, we're also going to be rolling out Ethereum and Polygon. So you'll be able to do the same kind of ISPO-like behavior in every single one of those, on every single one of those protocols and using those tokens. So, if you hold all of those or any of those, it's like, we're not going to stop you from, participating in the ISPO across every single protocol that we're supporting.
Okay, so this is the first multi-chain ISPO and is going to be a game changer. But before I jump onto the next topic, which is connected to this one, I want to invite you all to ask questions. Ask your questions here. We'll be answering questions from you after the next topic. We will jump into a conversation with you, and we'll even invite some of you to come on and talk and ask or tell us things or just say nice things. So the next topic, guys, is talking about, okay, we're doing this ISPO. We started with Cardano. We're next going with Polkadot. Is the first ISPO in history. But ISPOs and the technology DEGA is building will serve others, not only to do their own ISPOs, but also to create different business models that come up with it. So I want to invite you to talk about these possibilities and where do you see this going?
Well, I kind of mentioned the subscription services. So, we at DEGA, we're really at our core. When you look at what we actually are, is we're an infrastructure for media. And on the last spaces when you and I were talking, I was talking about how video games are kind of like the convergence of so many different types of media. That's why it's a great place to be. But say you're a song creator, this is an example. Say you're a song creator and you want to operate on your own as an independent creator. And it's like, right now, what do you have to do? You have to go and you have to do a Patreon. You have to go and you have to do these kind of like subscription services that use fiat. Well, that's an exchange of, one-to-one exchange of me giving you money every single month, we'll say, in a Patreon account. Whereas with an ISPO, if you had an ISPO-based system, the only exchange that would be happening is if somebody wanted to come in and say, I want to support you as an artist, instead of me giving you my hard-earned cash, instead I'm putting it into an ISPO-like situation where me as an artist will be, just like DEGA right now is being supported by our community, you all, with ADA, that just replaced DEGA with that musician or with that artist. So it's like it's a completely different way to support artists. I mean, and if you want to get outside of media, you could do this with nonprofits. So you have a nonprofit organization. These guys are always raising money. Well, I won't even get into the cost savings on the operation side of replacing an ISPO with this kind of like traditional fundraising mechanism. But anything you support, anything that you want to support, anywhere where you want to, kind of like quote unquote vote with your dollars. Imagine if you could vote with your dollar and still keep it in your wallet. And that's what an ISPO would do for you. So it's like, you can, this business model can pay back loans. It's like, say you get a loan and it's like, well, traditionally in a loan or a credit card or something like that, what you would do is you would have to pay that money back with your hard-earned cash. But instead of this, if you just put your cash into a certain ISPO-like situation, not only would you be able to help pay that off, but the community might be able to help pay that off. So You know, if you're in a situation where you could build organizations that were based on, you know, community lending, where everyone puts into the protocol and everyone can borrow a certain amount and the whole community pays it back instead of you just being responsible for your own debt. So there's all kinds of different new and exciting business models that you can take into consideration. And I mentioned last time I was on the call with you, I'm in a conversation with a friend of mine in Texas who wants to do an ISPO to build an entire city and then use the ISPO like technology to be able to pay for, pay for utilities and food and like everything like that, where it's not a one-to-one exchange for cash anymore. It's just something that is sustained by the network instead of sustained by individual wallets paying cash to someone. So I'll stop there. Is that kind of like what you're looking for an answer, Free?
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm looking for, because if we allow people to build these ISPOs, which are already multi-chain, that are already, you know, built like this, like, I cannot wait to see what business are gonna come out of. You know, we're focused on gaming, and Carlos said it the other day. We started with gaming, but this solution works for everyone.
Works for
But
everything. Yeah.
going back to gaming, is like, what things do you see happening here? Like, for example, with the guilds and the tribes, you know, with even designing new games, how this will help, you know, creators and tribes and all of them with new business models.
So I'm going to skip to the end here. I'm going to kind of like jump to Q4, you know, in the future. You know, it's kind of like when you're able to, you know, use the power of the DEGA protocol, and the ISPO is like baked right into kind of like your builder journey. And that's what Carlos and I like to do, is like we like to be able to build these repeatable, you know, processes that include, you know, technology that everyone's going to need in order to build their game. And then ISPO fundraising is just one of them. And it's really the first thing you're always looking for when you're first starting out, you know, and we're no exception. You know, everyone needs to sustain their operations to be able to just get something going. And it's like, you know, when you walk into the DEGA experience and you've got an entire community of people that have this DEGA token, and all of a sudden your project shows up on the DEGA protocol, you know, everyone's eyes are going to look to this new project and be like, is this something that we're going to support? And in that kind of situation, you can take your DEGA tokens and just subscribe your DEGA tokens directly to their ISPO. And because we're multi-chain, yeah, you don't want to use your DEGA for that because you want to use your DEGA for something else. Well, you can still use Ethereum, Matic, ADA, or Polkadot,
Dot.
your DOT on that. So it's like, you know, that is the, you know, for a gamer, you know, for someone playing games, and the person building the game itself, you know, it's like, you know, bye the days of subscription services. You can install the ISPO like technology to have people subscribe to your game in a different way. So it's you know, it opens up a lot of business model situations for a game builder themselves and how they want to sustain their environment. So it could be free to play forever, you know, based on subscriptions through an ISPO.
And with the tribes, I also picture a lot of ideas. So you got my brain going as usual. So I'm like, let's say I'm building the Freaky World game. So ISPO is one way to create this, but and I can see a lot of things happening. You know, it's like you get a subscription, you get a bunch of stuff, you get dropped like things during the time you're staking, so you can get NFTs, you can get a lot of things because you've been staking. And the other part is the guilds and the tribes that form around this game can also use it for several things. One is you subscribe to the tribe, but you also get kind of like the tribe gets things from the games that the whole community can use. You can create even your own tribe tribe token to give, to your community in voting. But how do you see like tribe dynamics? What ideas come to your mind that could happen? I know the tribes are going to take it further than just this conversation. They're really creative, but what comes up to your mind, guys?
I've talked about this one before. There's a game out there called EVE Online, and EVE Online, they give you a very, very interesting. Their guilds are called corporations, but when you're setting up a corporation, they give you this kind of like wizard to create your corporation. So it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, and all that kind of stuff to be able to set up your corporation. And when you're setting up that corporation, any profit that's made by that corporation or any kind of money or rewards from the game, you're setting up, when you're setting up that corporation, you're setting up how greedy you want to be or how beneficial, how beneficent you want to be, how giving and charitable you want to be with the people who join your corporation. So it's like I can't see a different way of doing it other than something like that for a DEGA tribe. When you're setting up your tribe, it's like, well, what are your tribe dynamics? What's your foundation? What is it that you're trying to do? That will be a selection criteria for people to join you or not. So if you have a tribe that's really selfish and everything that goes to the top, well, that's just a repeat of of fiat, supply side economic BS that we're all trying to escape from right now. But if you set up your corporation in a way that, what you contribute, like a true meritocracy, where what you contribute, no matter who you are and what you think, you could be the weirdest dude on the block. But if you're bringing in, the carrots for the rabbit, I care about that. As long as you stay within the values of that tribe. So it's like when you're setting up a tribe in a situation like this, it's really the sky's the limit. It's like, how do you want to design your tribe and how an ISPO might be able to fit into that? It's just your way of generating a reward stream for your tribe.
And yeah, and you also mentioned the other day in a conversation we had that this is also a way to maybe guarantee or get to a point where we have universal income. Could that be applied to the tribe?
Well, that's the thing, is that's one of the city project that I'm working on right now with this guy with ISPOs. That's what he wants to be able to provide the citizens of his city. Is that's just another fork in the general ledger. It's like you're creating like a different type of general ledger. And general ledger, for those who don't know it, in business and in government, is kind of like, what are the categories that you want to send your incoming rewards to? So it's like 20% is going to go to utilities, 10% is going to go to defense, 15% is going to go to income for all of our people, so on and so forth. So it's like, we've always imagined kind of like everyone's kind of got this kind of like generator sitting in the middle of their tribe. It's, in the old days, you'd all gather around the fire, but the fire here is your delegation, is your actual delegation piece, like sitting there in the middle of, and we gather around that as the bringer of energy and the bringer of, of light.
And my question is, how far can this go? Because there's a limited amount of crypto out there that you can stake. Do you think is like the majority of the staking is gonna go to like major product pools or something like that, guys?
Well, it's the situation for me is, and I wrote some papers on this back in the day. The intelligence, and I did this from an AI perspective, but it's kind of the same thing, because the resources are the same. if you think about it in a certain way. It's like AI will get smarter and smarter and smarter as the digital infrastructure grows. So it's like the only thing that constrains you in a situation like this is energy, is global energy and materials. So it's like that at its core, ecologically, there's a limit, obviously, to our ecology here on the planet, but it's like, these are micro, these are bits of information. It's like they don't take up that much space. And with the new staking protocols, especially with the ones that we're working here in DEGA, it's like these things are green, they are efficient, they are not extractive from the environment. In some cases, they're adding back, when you partner with people who add back into the ecological environment, it's like you've got the situation here where things can be very, very different. And they need to be, because the old way of doing stuff just isn't doing it for us anymore.
Yeah, one more thing that you need to account there is that networks become more powerful, not weaker, with more nodes, right?
That's correct.
So even with blockchains that have currencies that have a limited amount of that currency, right? Every time that a person joins Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they make those ecosystems more powerful, right? So the more projects, the more people that join the DEGA ecosystem, the more powerful it'll be, right? And there's always some, let's say, gravitational centers, right, that people tend towards, right? There's always leaders in every community. So we'll see that as well, right? But that doesn't mean that you're not growing, supporting, and benefiting from the ecosystem.
So we're talking about network effects, like being
Yes.
in the fabric of the protocol and what we're building.
Yes, it's the thing that always attracted me to blockchain networks and everything like that is their analogy to life. It's like there is there's this underlying kind of biomimicry that happens in these blockchain networks that are much more network driven. So relationships matter, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but in the old networks, relationships between ideas, relationships between entities, like all kinds of things were very, very hardly mediated and very, very separate. So you end up with data sets that are like completely separated from each other. We're separated from each other, physicists can't go and talk to the biologists because they're separated from one another. It's like when you're dealing with network information and a more whole, ecological view, life-based view into all of these types of protocols, then you're gaining like the power of life, if that makes sense at all.
It does make a lot of sense. Carlos, we're trying to save your voice, but
Yeah, just to wrap it up there, there's also one thing that we discussed in the past, which is there's an episode, it's a little bit old now, but we'll publish an article, so it doesn't matter, which is about what we're calling GEOs, right? Gaming Ecosystem Organizations. So that's what DEGA tribes are, right? And essentially is about all of these people and networks and entities that give life to games that are usually overlooked, right? Like gaming guilds, esports teams, skin creators, third-party developers, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So with DEGA, we are going to bring this ISPO system and also combine it with our progression system so that you can structure a path for growth for individuals and for these types of organizations, right? Because it's really hard, right? Like if you're going about it alone, it's really hard, man. It's like you're an artist or you're a developer, whatever you are, or even if you're just a player, to want to grow within an ecosystem, it's very hard usually. So that's because most of them, they don't pay attention to these organizations, right? So we are going to do that. And actually, our tools can be used to support and bootstrap organizations on other games, right? And now that Rabbit actually mentioned EVE Online, I think that later on at some point we should do an experiment, right, to apply our progression system, ISPOs, and other concepts that we're building to build out a corporation there, right? But yeah, that's the point that I wanted to make, right? That these ecosystem organizations, GEOs, gaming ecosystem organizations, are the lifeblood of the gaming industry. They are being overlooked right now, and we're coming with the tools to support them and help them grow.
That's great, guys, and I cannot wait to have all of this. I have my freaky ideas, but this means that it's about you, people. It's about you in the community. It's everyone in the tribe, in the bigger tribe, in the DEGA tribe, about building this. Network effects are really important. We need you, and we're building this with you. So you're key players from this. The more people that will get involved, the better will be for all. I love that concept. I love network effects, especially when you're creating value. And oh, Rabbit, I love your birds in the background. It makes me feel like I'm in the forest, in the while I speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that distracting? I can mute.
No, I like it. I like the little birds. It makes me. I'm gonna look for that sound in my soundboard to have it like.
Oh, great.
So, but I'm gonna do a magical forest. But people, so ISPO is going. We want to go for the supernova bonus. I think there's only like 10 epochs left to get to the supernova, and we need more people to build a stronger project. So this is a call to action to all of you, not to only be part of this, but bring everyone you care about, and the people that you think that can add real value. It can be just by taking this opportunity in the ISPO, or just bringing knowledge, creation, thoughts, strategies, or create your own tribes. And as Carlos says, they will behave as geos. We will explain a little bit more in the future. So right now is time for the questions. We don't have any questions yet in the tweet thread.
Well, Freak, why don't we give Carlos a break? So let's jump to the 7.2 bonus.
Yes.
And let Carlos quickly describe what that is, and then I can fill in the blanks when his voice runs out of gas.
Perfect. I was gonna do that. Since we have no questions, I'm gonna ask the 7.2 question. What is the 7.2 bonus that once announced, and why, Carlos?
Yeah, so DEGA's ISPO has been the most successful ISPO right now, right? It's been like a little bit over a year since there was such an exciting project, and the entire ecosystem is excited about what we're doing and has decided to support us, right? We still got a long way to go, but current success has been, great. So we decided that, as everything that we do in DEGA, right, it's all about structuring the progression, right, the growth towards something, right? So we wanted to make sure that we rewarded everybody for doing this early support to DEGA, right? So that's why we gave them that 7.2. And I'll let Rabbit describe why 7.2. But yeah, and there might be more surprises coming in accordance to the growth that we're achieving, right, in that sense.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. I think, Rabbit, Carlos, we will take it from here.
Man. I don't know. I think Carlos might need a day off from talking. I mean,
yeah.
I'll have to catch up with him after this to make sure that he's covered, because he's starting to sound like Pepe. Anyway,
teasing me when I can't defend myself. That's
Oh
great.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Hey, that's me. It's got to find the advantage somewhere.
No,
But
yeah, it's
anyway,
but go.
what were you gonna say, Prick?
No, I was just gonna say bye to Carlos and thank you for being here. I know it's a big sacrifice, but it's like we need to save his voice. We still have a long way to go, and
It's early today.
yeah, and he has major event like in the afternoon and all of that. So it's kind of like, dude, you can stay here and listen, but if you need to go, Carlos, and drink some honey with lemon and stuff like that, just take care, bro.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. I'll talk at you later, Carlos, when you can't defend
Perfect.
yourself.
Hit me up.
Gonna get
See
all my
everybody.
ideas through.
Yeah, I just scheduled the whole like free slots on Carlos for me. Like I'm just gonna go like a monologue with.
Oh, well, nothing new there. But anyhow, yeah. So the 7.2 bonus. So it's like this was the 420. So the 420 epic celebration, yeah, epoch celebration, and that it was our third. That it was our third epoch. So 4.2 plus 3 is 7.2. So we just wanted to do something that was a little tied to everything that was going on, and give you a bonus on your rewards that was sizable enough for it to take for it to make a difference. So that's what's behind the 7.2 reward. And these bonuses are interesting. It's like these are kind of like spot bonuses that, like Carlos said, we've reserved a bit of DEGA for the Cardano ecosystem, and we want to make sure that we wanted to make sure that we put enough aside so that we could do little presents like this along the way. So there might be more of these to come as the ISPO progresses.
But how does it work? Who got it? Who got the bonus? So it's only the people.
Anyone who received rewards up to this point was eligible for that. And it does, the reason why we're saying there's more of these to come is because we do realize that there are people who came in recently that quote unquote weren't eligible for the bonus this time, but they're still early adopters, and they're people who are here supporting us. And it's like we want to catch you all. We want to make sure that you're all able to participate in these things. So they're me kind of like fooling around and saying, well, there might be another one. Yeah, there's most likely going to be another one, to make sure that everybody everyone who's supporting us is able to get these types of bonuses as well. And Carlos did kind of like give away something, and this is a recorded session, so it's kind of like on the record now. A lot of these, in the we've got metrics. We're looking at how our ISPO is going and everything like that, and there's a little formula that we created to say, is it time to give everybody a present? And we're monitoring that, and as soon as we reach the next threshold, another one's going to come out.
And can we know what the next threshold is about?
come on, we're leaking enough information already. We're not even supposed to be kind of like talking about this, but no, it's you know, it's a formula that has to do with, you know, how many people have arrived, how many individual wallets, and, you know, the comparison between what's active and what's, you know, what's pending, and the growth curve and everything like that of the ISPO. So there's a lot of different things that we look at, but that's the broad brush stroke. Really, what it comes down to is, it's like, you know, is it growing? You know, is our ISPO growing? So, you know, it's kind of like a hidden incentive for everyone who's already participating to, you know, kind of like tell everybody else about it. You know, come on board.
I didn't get it out. I tried. I sort of got people. I tried to get it out, but okay, it's okay. It's cool. We will find out somehow. So, but Rabbit, right now we have question, and just my two satoshis, by the way. Great creator, amazing
Oh,
creator.
by the way, speaking of my two satoshis, how do I put this? I don't like to do direct messages. I get flooded with a ton of them, and I was going through and I did see a direct message from you, Satoshi, but I can't like make exceptions for you, because we have to have a policy here that we like to talk in the open about stuff. So if you had a question or anything like that, let's keep it in the open. And I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be a jerk. It's like we get spammed like constantly, and it's like just finding. I just saw your name in a sea of DMs that were coming into me. So it's like we actually have to put the hammer down on that policy, and we say it everywhere. It's like we don't do DMs. We just can't do DMs. So sorry about that, man. But go ahead.
No, he. I guess he's asking the question here. I don't know, but it's the same for me. It's like, yeah, the M's are insane, but just my two satoshis is asking kind of like a pitch question, or actually two questions. So let's go to the first one, and is what problem does your business solve?
What problem does our business? Oh, okay. So so right now, to build a game on blockchain, you need an army of people who understand blockchain. You know, you need PhD level math in some cases, and those are very, very expensive services. So what the services that DEGA does is we abstract all of that blockchain knowledge into our one API and into the DEGA Studio, which is to come. So that, you know, basically anyone who understands like a RESTful service, any developer who understands just basic like RESTful API kind of language can write something on blockchain. So instead of, you know, having to spend all the time to figure out how the heck do I store my game data on the blockchain, it's just a call to a standard API service, and we handle all of that for you in the background with our technology. So it's from an outcomes perspective, you know, it's saving you a lot of money and time is really what it comes down to. Saving money on team, infrastructure, like all the things that you would have to pay for upfront in order to you know, get a blockchain game going.
And we can go in deeper, you know, talking about how it makes the blockchain kind of invisible and cheap also for the gamers and the users, and makes it.
Sure. I mean, that's what that's the levels of abstraction that we're providing. So it's like you don't have to even think about that stuff anymore. You know, Carlos likes to say when you're doing email, when you're doing Gmail, you don't need to like set up all the protocols every single time and communicate with all of the servers and everything like that. They just have a cloud-based service, and if you want to use Gmail-like technology in your application, it's just an API that's understandable by everybody. You don't need to understand all of the background in order to use a mail server anymore. So we're doing that for blockchain and specifically for building blockchain games.
And of course, as we always say, it works for every other technology, every other builder, but the focus is right now on that. But also Rabbit is making it easy as just chatting in a Telegram, Discord, or WhatsApp. You know, so it's giving access to the next billion people.
Yeah. So there's levels of abstraction, and all the way down to what we used to call democratization of technology, where like anyone can use. Back in the day when you were building a website, you had to like know HTML, you had to like know how to like do design and all that kind of stuff. And now there's things out there like like Wix and everything like that, where you can just drag and drop your stuff in. You don't even need to know it anymore. You don't need to know all that back end stuff anymore. So it's like website building and construction and design and all that stuff has been democratized so that anybody can go and build a website like really fast, and a really pretty one too. It's like to get some of these websites that come out of Wix and or Squarespace or any of those democratizing technologies. It's like there's a whole cottage industry that stood up around that, where people are building frameworks. You can just like buy somebody's design and it just slides right in, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to change the text a little bit to explain your business. It's like we want to do the same thing with blockchain. We want to make it really easy for people to be able to do that sort of thing. And that's kind of like a mid-level democratization. But when Carlos talks about like chatbots and stuff like that, it's like if you can, I'm an AI guy. My background is in artificial intelligence, analytics, data, and operations. So it's like, I've been working on ChatGPT-3 stuff for like the last 15 years. Before anyone even knew what it was, I was working on the core technology. So it's like, I knew it was coming, but now you can have a conversation with your computer to be able to even build code. So it's like that is a major democratization step. It's very disruptive. And if you wanted to be able to build a blockchain game, why not have a conversation with one of these AI helpers through something very, very accessible like Telegram or whatever? And it just shows, it's a back and forth conversation with your own little consultant around the game build, and with all the power of DEGA behind it. So that's the stretch democratization of blockchain technology. That's taking it all the way to the people who really, really need it the most.
So I hope this answers your question, Satoshi. I think we could talk about all of this for a week, because there's a lot of things,
It's a big subject. I mean, it's a really big subject. Got some thumbs up there, so I guess that means yes, that was good.
Okay, so the other question that two Satoshis was asking, it was about where do you see DEGA 3 to 6 months or in the future or years from now? Before we run out of time, because I have to do a hard cut at 10.
Okay, so obviously all of these, ISPOs is one kind of like technology that we're building inside of DEGA. So if you think about it, there's a bunch of other technologies that we need to build in order for people to be able to build games as well. So it's like we want to make the ISPO accessible to people with a mouse click. I want an ISPO in my build process. I want a DEX. I want all these different types of things. So it's like, over the course of the next 6 months, we are in the background building out those other kind of like plug and play things for games that are, quote unquote, white labeled for you to be able to build your own experience on top of them for your game. So those are the near term, product based things. There's also a protocol layer that's going on right now. So we're developing the DEGA protocol. So we're hoping within the plan, and as we all know, plans sometimes depend on circumstances that are beyond our control. Like, the U.S. deciding that crypto is a crime, that kind of crap. It's like it really can throw a monkey wrench in the plan that we have. But building the protocol out as well. It's like when we get to TGE, we want you to be able to have something to do with your. We might be able to want to still help with it, something to do with your token and stuff like that. So in that point, I just spent the last couple of days like going through this entire like plan based on all the changes that have happened in the environment, where we are as a team, where we are with the ISPO, and I am working on a major overhaul of our roadmap, which will be much more clear. Like our first roadmap was kind of like, well, that's where we were like when we just started, what we were thinking about and how we were thinking about what we were going to do. But things have changed, and I'm working on publishing a new roadmap, which should help you understand a bit more.
And if I can add, I know you're pretty much everyone is really oriented to the business side, the financial side, tokenomics, and all of those.
Yeah,
but I'm
a generalist. I help everybody do everything.
So, but I want to say Rabbit because I also see DEGA becoming a movement. The way, like, when you see tribal dynamics happening, you and things work out and people are connecting and the values are there, the ideas, the vision, and the right people are coming into the tribe. You start to, how do you say, sketch or glimpse the birth of a movement. So for me, in a year from now or more or even less, but let's say a year from now after TGE, I do see DEGA being a movement around the globe.
Well, first of all, before we go any further, there are no wrong people. Okay, I don't want to say the right people showing up, just to draw a distinction there, because from my point of view and from my framework, even if someone shows up in our community and they're acting like an asshole, that still informs us of something. And that's really what I'm in this to do, is if somebody has a point of view that's like, completely asinine, if that can show us a lot about, how we respond to that person, how do we look at our own behavior, all these types of things. So it's like, I don't see, anybody as a wrong person.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I meant that, like, people that connects deeply with what we're doing and understands it and helps out. But you're right, it's not right or wrong. It's not right or wrong.
Yeah, there's definitely a values-based identity that we have here at DEGA that we try and we try and I think so far we're pretty successful in doing it. We aren't here to extract from you. I mean, we really basically, the reward system that we're giving you, like all these bonuses that are just falling into the sky for you guys, it's really because we want you to share with us tribally, as a project. So if there was going to be a movement, behind any of this, it's why do we have to make blockchain so hard for everybody? So we're going to demonstrate for you that you can actually make blockchain really effing easy to work with in an understandable way. But two, it's these types of values, and the last time we were on, we were talking about the meaning crisis. Why are we even doing what we're doing on a day-to-day? Why am I going to work every day? Why am I doing this? Who am I supporting? And when you get into a situation where it's much more organic, like what we're trying to do here at DEGA, the movement is your brother. I'm looking out for you, and you're looking out for me. We are looking out for each other. This is a community. Individuals are important, but they are not the only thing. It is not the only thing that's going to make us survive the next 50 years. And we need to come together. And that means a different type of structure and a different way of relating to one another. And I think crypto is doing an awesome job at that. And it is, believe it or not, that's one of the reasons why it's under attack so much, because Western it's very, very reductive. It likes putting things in their little boxes and keeping them separated. And it's like we as the people who are operating inside of that situation right now, why is road rage on the rise? Why has it been so bad? Why are people freaking out the way they're freaking out? Because we want to be heard. It's like, and when you're driving around in your own metal box, separated from everybody else, you can't see or feel or know them at all. That's all you know is what's inside of you and nothing else. And it's like, there's no reflection, there's no mirror for your anger, there's no mirror for your despair, and you just sit there in your own little box and wither away. And we don't want to do that here at DEGA. That's why the way we are the way we are in our community. We try and answer you the best we can, and whenever we can, we're extremely transparent, extremely accepting, and so on and so forth. So there's two sides to the movement. One's technical, one's organic.
Totally. And I love how you go deep without me pushing the conversation. And because it has so many layers, so many levels that.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing, Frank. It's like we have been conditioned by this system, not our system, but the systems that we all grew up in, to not go deep and not understand the underlying principles and policies and like where all this stuff comes from. And this stuff goes all the way back to 1650. It's like we have had a habit in our economies and our sciences and everything that go all the way back to 1650, and we're still operating under like Newtonian ways of thinking about our lives. And it's like we have this entire society that we built around Newton, where things are not that simple. And we've discovered that as complexity has grown in our societies, that you can't use Newtonian physics anymore to try and solve these problems.
I know. And we gotta have our good conversations, and we should make it like a daily. And one of the things I want to say, people, is thank you for being here. This is a conversation we could sustain for hours, especially me and Rabbit. It's like we could stay here forever, but duty calls. And I do want to say thank you to Satoshi for your question. Thank you for being here, every one of you. I recognize Kev. Yo, I love to see you. Love to see you more and talk. Matt, thank you for coming. I saw you in the Discord and you said you were gonna come and you couldn't speak, but you were gonna listen. Cryptomaniac, as some of you I've seen you coming here every day. Thank you for that support. To take this further, we need the community, we need the tribe, we need you, because this goes beyond that. And as we said, this is gonna be a movement for all of us, and we shape it together. But I want to announce the winner of the daily challenge, the winner yesterday. So 1,000 DEGA tokens, Rabbit. 1,000 DEGA tokens for just like, retweet, and mentioning 3 friends. So, are you there? Or did I lose everyone?
Oh, and all you clever people out there that are trying to game this game, you just stop. You're not going to win by retweeting your 1 day old account and talking to each other. It's like, it's just not going to work. If you want to keep on doing it, it's fine. You're giving us engagement numbers, but you're not going to win the competition. So, play fair, please.
Oh yeah. It's just a little bit more time for us to check on the contestants, but yes, it's not going to happen. But today we got a winner, and we got Virtuoso number 3 as a winner of 1,000 DEGA tokens. I don't have my music, but imagine there's like clapping and yelling behind me.
Well, I'm a singer, but I'm not going to do that to you this morning.
Oh, but I heard you sing. You sing really good, by the way. I saw
Really?
your like your video when you were like 18.
Yeah.
Someday
Yeah.
I have that under my sleeve. Is gonna go out like when we have like 1 million people. I'm gonna just reveal that card.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, so remember tomorrow we have a after the DEGA space tomorrow we have a LinkedIn live with Carlos. We're gonna talk about ISPO and new business models. So it will be a little bit of this topic, but since it's Spanish, I wanted to address it today so the people in English could also get a glimpse of what we're gonna talk about. But if you have some Spanish speaking friends, some Latinos in the house, you know, some of us in your circle of friends, please share and bring them here because I think these new business opportunities needs new ways to create guilds, tribes, and communities are important for us all, especially if, as the rabbit said, and I usually said this as freak, not as dega. If we want to say fuck the system, we're building our own system. These are concepts that are worth understanding and dreaming about and coming back to us and say, hey, I have this idea. Can I do this? Can you help me do it? And then we can think about, you know, if there are options with the technology we're building or we can guide you or we can, you know, we build this together. So they got
Freak,
LinkedIn tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC.
I'm not a fuck the system kind of guy. I'm just looking at it at something that's dying and needs a replacement.
I am fuck the
It's
system.
going down on it. It's going on down. It's going down on its own. There's no reason. there's no reason to get angry at.
Bro, you know where I come from. Actually, I think you know more about my personal story than anyone. So,
yeah, no, I do, and I understand.
So I am fuck the system. We're taking over.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, people. Thank you very much for being here, for listening to us. I enjoy it every time. Rabbit, I love talking to you. Let's do it more. Let's do it more, bro. Let's do it more.
Well, we will. Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. You know, we will do a Freaky Rabbit coming up real soon if you want to, you know, come on and talk crazy philosophical decentralization kind of stuff. We are very, very well versed in systems theory, complex systems, and all the things that you need in order to really understand how to build something like this. So, anyone who's ever interested in that side of things, we're here for you. I love talking about those types of things, as you can probably see.
Me too.
There's always an opening for anyone to expand their mind as well.
Okay, thank you, Rabbit. We will do it. People, thank you very much. Have an amazing day. It's Thursday, but I can feel Friday coming. It's almost Friday. So it's kind of like fries. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. I have the word. But it's jueves in Spanish. So it's a mix of Friday and Thursday. But okay, have a great day and see you tomorrow, everyone. Imagine the music.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for your support.
Bye bye.